So if you've been reading the latest issue of Backstreet Heroes, you'll know that we've got a new Katana as a long-term test bike. Strictly speaking, I've got a new Katana as a long-term test bike. I had one last year, just for a couple of week loan, and because I've got a thing about Katanas anyway, they decided that I should have one to smoke about on, which would be lovely if it wasn't for the fact we've got this COVID-19 thing, and I've had this thing since February and it's done about 300 miles. But, well, these things are sent to try us, aren't they? Because it's a test bike, we're not allowed to do a huge amount to it because, you know, people get quite shirty if you start taking the gas axe to their brand new motorcycle. So what we're going to do, with Suzuki's permission of course, is just do some little changes to it. Try and make it a little bit more like a Katana, like an old Katana, you know, the famous Katana, than this is. And the weird, I'll just sort of show you, if you haven't seen the new Katana, where have you been hiding under a rock or something? But it's close, but it's not quite what a Katana should be. I really do need to get a steady cam rather than falling over everything like I normally do. It's not bad. There's definite hints of Katana in it. I mean, it's based on the GSX, the older GSX R1000. I think it's 2005 issue. And it's a nice thing to ride. I mean, it's a typical Suzuki. You know, the brakes are absolutely amazing. They're Brembos. The handling is amazing. Although if you look at the tyres, because I haven't had a chance to ride it, there's absolutely huge chicken strips. But it's just, you know, it's a typical new Japanese bike, and it rides just like a new Japanese bike would, really. There are some bits that we need to change with it. I mean, if you look at it, that front screen is not right. It's not at the right angle. To me, it looks like one of those old GSX 550 ESs from the 80s, wouldn't it? It just doesn't sit. The screens on Katanas were a lot more upright, so that's something we're going to do, is change the angle of the screen, make it a little bit more upright. I think we're going to have to lose the mirrors because they just kind of don't look quite right. We'll try lower ones that will just look over my shoulder. But the first bit of change we've done for it is, as I come around this way, and you'll see we've lost the great big thing off the back of it that held the reg plate. There is a regulation in Europe that says you have to cover a certain amount of wheel, all new bikes, and the way to do that is to have a short stumpy bike, is to have a thing that wraps around the wheel and holds the mudguard, and holds this one, and that one holds the indicators. But it's really not very pretty. So I spoke to the lovely people at Performance Parts, and they sent me a Rhizoma tail tidy, and we fitted it this afternoon. It's a fiddly job, but it's no fiddlier than, if you can make up IKEA furniture, you can do this piece of piss. It's not that difficult, but it makes such a difference. It's such a nicer looking piece of it. It changes the look of the back end of the bike. It moves the indicators from down around the wheel spindle up to where indicators should be, if you have to have indicators, which, being as it's a brand new bike and it's not ours, it does. It takes about maybe 2-3 hours to fit. We did it a little bit longer than that, but there was a lot of drinking of tea and trying to figure out of things. There is a video on the net of a guy fitting one, but his is a slightly different make, and it's slightly different brackets and fixings and stuff. So if you look it up his, I think his is, I think they're called murder motorcycles or murder cycles or something like that. Mustard cycles. And it's actually very good for showing you how to strip the old bit off the bike. Putting the new bit on, it does show you, but the Rhizoma kit is different. But it just makes such a difference. It just makes the back end of the bike look so much neater. Okay, I've got a full-size plate on it, where in the grand scheme of things I'd much rather have a smaller plate on it, but during the COVID crisis it's quite difficult to get reg plates. So it will have to do for the moment. I mean, personally, if it was my own bike, I would have gone for a little very neat side mount, tap down on the left hand side by the axle, because I just think it looks amazing. My Bandit's got one like that and it just looks right. But it's pretty damn good. I'll come close. And you can see the bracket comes out a bit further than I was anticipating. I was expecting the number plate to be slightly closer to the rear light than it actually is. But you could, if you were suitably mechanically, absolutely be able to shorten it and bring it closer, which I think would look a bit neater. There's also, it's a little bit, not quite so keen on those on the coverings for the wire, because it doesn't look brilliant, and we might have to have a relook at that and see if we can work out some way of hiding them a little bit more. But it's pretty damn good. As I say, it's a Rhizoma one, so it's very high quality, and you can get them from Performance Parts. So if you've got a new katana, then it might be worth doing, because it does absolutely transform the look of the back of the bike. And thank you very much indeed to Performance Parts for letting us have one.